In the heart of a lush, forgotten valley lay Kitambo, a village blessed with fertile soil and abundant harvests. People were hard-working, their days filled with the rhythms of planting and reaping. Shadow hung over this peaceful land, a shadow cast by their own leader, Chief Makori. Man of immense presence, his voice a low rumble that commanded instant obedience. The villagers respected him, for under his rule their granaries were always full, yet respect was tinged with a deep, unspoken fear. Like dry leaves skittering in the wind, spoke of a darker source for his power. He wasn't just a chief, but a master of witchcraft, binding the village's prosperity to his will through ancient, forbidden rituals. Dared to voice these thoughts aloud, for the price of dissent in Kitambo was steep and terrible. It began, subtly, a creeping dread that coiled around the village. It was old man Juma who had muttered in the marketplace that the chief took too large a share of the harvest. Later, Juma was bedridden. A strange illness, unlike any the village had ever seen, took hold of him. The young farmer's body withered. His skin grew pale and clammy, and he spoke of hearing whispers in the dead of night faint, mocking voices that no one else could hear. Soon after, a young woman named Akiwena, who had questioned the chief's judgment in a council meeting, fell to the same mysterious ailment. Those who dared to challenge Chief Makori were struck down. Healer, a wise old woman named Elara, was baffled. She examined the afflicted, her brow furrowed with worry. "It's no ordinary sickness," she declared, her voice heavy. "It is a blight upon the soul, a darkness that leeches the life away. My herbs and remedies are useless against it." Once a quiet undercurrent now flowed openly through the streets of Kitambo. Chief Makori's grand homestead, nestled under the shade of an ancient baobab tree, stood a small, windowless hut. Built of dark wood and clay, and a heavy carved door barred its entrance. This hut was forbidden ground. No one, not even the chief's own family, was permitted to approach it. Others averted their eyes as they passed, quickening their steps as if a cold draught emanated from its walls. Children, with their boundless curiosity, would sometimes watch from a distance. Stories of strange, unnatural lights, sometimes green, sometimes a sickly yellow, that pulsed from within the hut precisely at midnight. And on quiet nights, when the moon was hidden and the village slept, a faint, rhythmic sound could be heard. Soft, steady beat of a drum, a heartbeat of malice in the silent darkness, even though no one was ever seen entering or leaving the forbidden hut. Villagers learned to ignore the lights and the sounds, to pretend the hut did not exist. Easier than confronting the terrifying truth it might hold. One sweltering afternoon, a stranger walked into Kitambo. Tall and lean, with eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 miles traveled. He had nothing but a walking stick and a small leather pouch. He was Nyaga. When he was brought before Chief Makori, the entire village watched, holding its breath. sat on his ceremonial stool, expecting the usual show of deference. Niagara did not bow. He stood straight, his gaze meeting the chief's without flinching. Rippled through the crowd. His eyes narrowed. "In my village, stranger. Show me respect." Voice was calm, but carried an undeniable strength. Respect is earned, not demanded. As he shared a meal with some of the wary villagers, he spoke in parables. "A tree whose roots are fed by poison may grow tall," he said, "but its fruit will be bitter, and its branches will eventually wither and die. Built on fear is a fortress built on sand. It will always end in darkness." Words were a direct challenge, a spark of defiance in a village smothered by fear. Was furious. He summoned Niagara and, with a voice shaking with rage, ordered him to leave Kitimbo by sunrise or face the consequences. But did not leave. He stayed, and the village held its collective breath, waiting for the inevitable. The blood moon arrived, painting the sky in crimson hues. Suffocating stillness fell over Kitembo, broken only by the chirping of crickets. Just after midnight, a blood-curdling scream tore through the silence. From the direction of the chief's homestead, from the forbidden hut. Before anyone could react, a jagged fork of lightning, seemingly from a cloudless sky, struck the roof of the chief's house. A scream, deeper and more guttural than the first, echoed through the valley, followed by an explosion of dark, acrid smoke that billowed from the hut, obscuring the blood-red moon. Huddled in their homes, paralyzed by terror, as the smell of burnt magic and ozone filled the air. The strange drumming from the hut grew frantic, then suddenly stopped. Descended once more, heavier and more profound than before. Dared to venture out until the first light of dawn broke the horizon. They found the chief's house charred and smoldering. The forbidden hut was blasted open, revealing an empty, blackened interior. Chief McCory was gone. The only trace of him was a single set of footprints leading away from the devastation down the path to the wide, dark river, where they abruptly stopped at the water's edge. Vanished, as if swallowed by the night itself. Days and weeks that followed, a miraculous change swept through Kitembo. Strange illness that had afflicted so many vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Turned to their cheeks, strength to their limbs. The whispers in the night ceased. Itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Which had been struggling, now grew with renewed vigor, promising the most bountiful harvest in memory. Niagara stayed only long enough to see the first green shoots push through the soil before he departed as quietly as he had arrived, leaving behind a village reborn. The people of Kitembo rebuilt, their hearts lighter, their laughter echoing through the valley once more. Spoke the name of the vanished chief again, consigning him to the darkest corners of their memory. The hut was torn down, and the ground upon which it stood was purified with fire and salt. Even in their newfound peace, a sliver of the old fear remained. On the quietest nights, when the wind blows just right from the river, some villagers swear they can still hear it. The faint beat of a distant drum, a chilling reminder of the darkness that once ruled their lives. So much for joining us on this journey into the shadows of Kitembo village. Enjoyed this story? Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tales from the edge of the unknown. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.